This week, White House AI and crypto czar David Sacks saying his first priority is exploring the possibility of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Joining us right now in an exclusive interview to talk about that and so much more, David Marcus. He previously led crypto and payments at Meta, is the former president of PayPal. He's now CEO of Lightspark, a company he launched in 2022 that's building payment infrastructure on the Bitcoin blockchain. Good morning to you. It's been a while, but it's nice to see you, David.
Good morning.
Let's try to, we're sort of seeing this revolution, at least inside of Washington, it appears, around how Congress and how this administration is going to think about crypto and specifically Bitcoin and how you think that the things might manifest. If you could just sort of walk us through the permutations in your mind from a regulatory perspective, not just on the regulation, but also on the strategic reserve and things like that, how this changes things.
Well, it's a brand new day for crypto in America, frankly. And speaking as someone who tried to launch a project and worked really hard to get it off the ground here at home and having it shut down by the U.S. government, to having conversations about regulatory clarity of Bitcoin strategic reserve, and really doing whatever it takes, frankly, for America to lead in this revolution that will completely rewire our whole financial system, is quite a polarity flip of atmosphere and energy for our entire industry. So, I'm very, very happy and excited for what's coming. I think we're very close to the precipice when it comes to falling behind here. And so it's really amazing to see.
Well, what does the strategic reserve do in your mind?
Well, look,
besides push up the price of Bitcoin.
Well, I think, first of all, if you look at the strategic reserves that the U.S. government holds in gold, we're the number one holder of gold in the world. And arguably, if you think of Bitcoin as a better version of gold, digital gold, why not allocate a portion of that reserve or rebalance a portion of that reserve to the better version? And I think, there's just a lot more opportunity for growth and appreciation of Bitcoin than gold in the next couple of decades. So I think it's a wise decision, potentially.
Taxpayers would pay for this?
Well, I think that, if you reallocate from the existing reserve, it doesn't necessarily have to be, an increase in tax burden for the American taxpayer.
There has been some view that there's been Bitcoin that's been confiscated that would go into this reserve?
Yes, I think that would be, in my opinion, a first good step. The U.S. government has been selling on the market seized Bitcoin as part of law enforcement activities. And I think that as a first step, like not selling the seized Bitcoin would be a good conservative baby step in the right direction.
We often talk about America first. And there is an argument to be made that if Bitcoin becomes truly, a global currency, if you will, and I don't know how much of a global currency it becomes, or you think it becomes more like gold, but if it were to be a currency, you could argue that it's actually a national security threat, that it's actually against the interests of the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, I hear that argument, but I think, the point is that Bitcoin is not a very good unit of account or currency because it's volatile in nature. Our goods and services are denominated in dollars. And so I don't see Bitcoin threatening the supremacy of the dollar as a unit of account. And so I think that point is not real, frankly.
David, I thought if you succeed, meaning what your company specifically does, which is trying to build these rails that actually let it be a currency to some degree, right? I mean, if you succeed, doesn't that make it more of a currency?
No, actually, because the way that we use Bitcoin at Lightspark to build an open money grid for the world is really to use Bitcoin in the background as small fragments of Bitcoin traveling in real time on the internet as a neutral settlement asset between fiat currencies, and with the support of stablecoin coming up at the end of this month, actually, on top of Bitcoin for the first time. And so we don't intend to actually enable consumers or businesses to use Bitcoin as the main unit of account for transactions. We just want to interoperate domestic real-time payment systems and ensure that they can actually move value between one another with a better system than SWIFT and correspondent banking that moves $5 trillion a day, 50 years plus after it was invented, and running on archaic rails and T+2 and all of those issues that we know.
David, what do you make of the president's family's role and ownership of various crypto assets? You saw his son recently endorsed Ether. The family has, projects on ETH. Do you think the public should be concerned about that?
Well, look, I think the president is running the country. I think his family should have the right to pursue their own economic interests and activities. I think David Sachs framed it well, that those types of assets, the meme coins, are more like collectibles. If you have a strong brand and you want to attach it to a collectible, why not do that? But that's not my area of interest particularly. I'm more interested in leveraging the technology that Bitcoin is to build an open payment system for the world and really build utility with the technology rather than trading assets. But